AM1170theanswer.com. Hear us anywhere in San Diego and the world. AM1170 The Answer. AM1170 The Answer, the Mark Larson Show. Dinesh D'Souza is going to join us in just a moment. No stranger to controversy. He has a brand new movie that is opening up just a matter of days nationwide, July 22nd. Hillary, the movie, Hillary's America, the movie.com is where you can find information. So check that out, and we'll talk more with Dinesh in a bit. And a lot of what this movie is focusing on is the history behind a lot of the chaos, the agitation from the far left in America, the way politics enters into so many, and you can't help but have politics enter into what's gone on in Dallas, because it gets into a lot of discussions about, sure, initially it's about, well, what about the guns? Well, bad people will do whatever they need to do. They also had bombs, apparently, well, at least one that took out one of the perpetrators. Dinesh D'Souza joins us right now. The new Hillary movie is coming out, Citizens United Productions film, and of course, just saying Citizens United, Dinesh, makes some on the left just crazy here. I want to talk about the movie in a bit, but first, as you're just digesting all of this we've seen happening in the last several hours in Dallas, what comes to mind when you look at the causes, consequences, all of that? And I have a feeling this is just the start of what we may see this year in a long, hot summer.
Yeah, it looks like we're in this crazy period in which you have these terrible, terrorist incidents. We have mass shootings and cop killings. We have, with Hillary, corruption at the highest levels of government, combined with a kind of collusion, the Justice Department, the FBI, the President of the United States. I think the question for Americans is, have we had enough? And do we want this kind of Obama-Hillary way of doing things to continue? Because it can't continue without our consent. And the reason I made this movie, which looks like I made it for the headlines, is to ask that question and put it before the country in a very clear way.
The Mirror newspaper out of the UK, and typically we tend to see a lot more news out of the London press before we do out of here, because they're just all over these stories. But apparently, in addition to seeing a few total idiots on Twitter who have been cheering on these snipers who killed these cops, now there's a group called, it's a Black Power group, according to the Daily Mirror, claiming responsibility on their Facebook post, responsibility for the police killings, and it warns of more assassinations to come. It says, more will be assassinated in coming days. Do you like the work of our assassins? Get your own sniper, read a post on the Black Power Political Organization Facebook account. It's a self-proclaimed group, and what's especially disturbing is this could just be the wackos coming out of the woodwork, but clearly these individuals, the three who are in custody and the one who ended up dead, and maybe some other accomplices, didn't exactly just suddenly get together on a whim and accidentally. This was very precise, very thought out, not accidental. So that gives us all pause. And again, there's a lot of unintended consequences here. Let's remember that this group, the Black Lives Matter protest in Dallas and in other cities, was peaceful. Everything was okay. It was going on. There were whites there. There were a lot of African Americans there. Cops are trying to send the right message and not be overly body armored up and all of that. And all of a sudden, here come these snipers sitting duck ambush style.
Yeah, the cops were there to protect the Black Lives Matter protesters. That's why they were there. They were there in force, and they were there to protect the very protesters who were. So look, there is a debate and a legitimate discussion to be had about these issues of cops and so on. But I think what's happened is that there's been in this country now fueled a climate of hatred against the cops. Now, the Black Lives Matter people could not do that on their own if they weren't, in a sense, being reinforced at the highest levels of government. And so I think that there's some culpability here on the part of our political leaders who have encouraged this kind of thinking. Oh, yeah, the cops are, randomly shaking down and searching and locking up people in the African, because the point is that that's going to license people who are demented and who are dangerous and violent to go, oh, really? Yeah, well, let me show those cops. And so this is a case where I think we're seeing this incendiary rhetoric that's been used against the cops come to its lethal and terrible conclusion.
So about the Hillary movie, Hillary the movie is complete, and again, you've teamed up with Citizens United Productions, our friend David Bossie. All you need to say, it's like kryptonite to the left.
No, Mark, let me pause there. We actually haven't. I think that's just a mistake there.
Oh, is that? I was looking at the website here, so that's okay. But obviously, they're okay with the movie.
They might have endorsed it or something, but there's a bunch of Hillary stuff going on. Ours is the only movie that's going to be in the theaters. It's going to be in 1,600 theaters, opening on July 22nd.
Oh yeah, I think you know what happened. I just think that this link that I went to here, it went back to Hillary the movie from 2008. Yeah. that fueled that case. Okay, that's where it is. It's just, yes, there's a bunch of Hillary stuff. Now she's affecting the internet. she's breaking the internet. So if you go to DineshD'Souza.com, you can find this. You can also go to his direct website that is available called Hillary's America, the movie, and that's the key that'll take you right there.
Hillary's America, the movie.com. That's the website. You can watch the trailer, and you can see the movie opening on the 22nd.
And you can punch in your zip code. It'll show you screens nearby. Starts in theaters on July 22nd. And again, a very well-done film. You're also talking, as we've discussed before, when the movie's in the making, you talk about your own problems, and you admit it. You made some big mistakes that caused you to end up in jail for, well, in a term of service, shall we say, here in San Diego, but all because you helped raise too much money for a friend who was running for political office, and suddenly you were targeted by the administration. At least that's the way it appears.
Mark, I'm still waiting for the FBI director to say that I was negligent, but nevertheless, there was not enough evidence.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. In light of all of that with Hillary, I was thinking, well, Dinesh ought to be asking for something here. What's going on?
Yeah. And if I had had the chutzpah to be deleting evidence and emails in the middle of an FBI investigation, I'd be conducting this interview from maximum security prison right now.
So that is in the movie as well, and you go back to the Democrat Party, to the history, and I heard Medved and others talking about how great it is. It's a great piece of filmmaking because, again, this is not a $1.98 production here. It's very well done. But in some places, I think Medved pointed out about how he wished there had been more fleshing out of the full Andrew Jackson story or FDR. But give us kind of a panorama of what's there, because history is history.
Yeah, I think what we're saying is that the Democratic Party has had a very sordid history that has been covered up by progressives in the media and in education. It goes back to the early 19th century. I mean, the Democrats were the party of justifying slavery. They were the party of segregation and Jim Crow. The Democrats not only founded the Ku Klux Klan, but they used it as a sort of weapon of domestic terrorism for 40 years. The Democrats were into forced sterilization, eugenics. There was a lot of sympathy for fascism in the 1930s. Young JFK went to Germany, was praising Hitler. FDR was an admirer of Mussolini, and Mussolini was an admirer of FDR. Now, after World War II, with the odor of the Holocaust, all of this became terribly inconvenient. And so it's now been left out of the textbooks. But, there it is in the historical record. So part of what we do in the movie is we lift the curtain so you can see all these hidden facts of American politics in the new light. And actually, even Hillary and Obama become more understandable when you see them as part of this longer tradition. They didn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it is a powerful movie. I haven't seen the whole movie yet, but I've seen a lot of the clips and the trailer as well. It's all there online. Dinesh D'Souza's very important new movie, Hillary's America, the movie.com. I'm assuming that the Hillary campaign hasn't set up screenings to enjoy this with some of their supporters?
No, but we have. In other words, we're going to be in a theater in Philadelphia right across from the Democratic Convention. We opened that weekend. We opened the weekend in between the Republican and Democratic Convention. So we're doing a premiere in Cleveland for the delegates. and then we open big, right? So the Democrats will be telling their official story on the one side, and we'll be telling their unofficial story, i.e. the truth, on the other.
Dinesh D'Souza with us here on the Mark Larson Show, AM 1170, The Answer, and on our network across America, a variety of platforms as well. Of course, the Republicans have their Cleveland convention first before the Democrats, and there's all kinds of stories, and you've probably had some conversations that I've had with people who are involved in law enforcement there. I mean, there's some wacky stuff that the opposition is planning. The street agitators are going to be big time. The Occupy type movement. You're going to see a lot of these same players, some who show up at Trump rallies and other places. And there will be more of that versus Republicans than you see versus Democrats. So this could be a very, very challenging summer, to say the least.
I think this whole year has been a surreal political year. I mean, who would have guessed we would be where we are now? And I just don't even know quite what to expect. But what I do know is that this is a film, and I have an accompanying bookmark, same title, Hillary's America, which you can pre-order now. But the book and the movie have the goods on Hillary. And so if people want to be well equipped for this year, they want to be well informed, they want to be very dangerous Americans, the way to do that is to check out the movie and check out the book.
All right, again, go to the website. Dinesh D'Souza's brand new movie comes to theaters on the 22nd of July. That's just a matter of days away here. Hillary's America, themovie.com. It's where you get all the information. You can also see the trailer, and I'll have it up on social media portals as well. The subtitle is The Secret History of the Democratic Party. It is an eye-opener. Again, is very well done in terms of the cinema, the writing, the editing. I mean, you got some big people working on this. And it's also controversial, and people who have not chosen to look at the history of the Democrat Party and somehow think that Abraham Lincoln was a Democrat, and you go back to all this, it's all sweetness and light, and the Republicans are the problem. You ought to see the movie and check out the book as well. Hillary's America, themovie.com. Thanks, Dinesh. Stay safe out there. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
More coming up. AM 1170, The Answer.